through the store and wondered where the dairy products come from? The dairy products all begin with the milking of cow. Without farmers who milk cows, there would be no dairy products for us to enjoy today. Knowing how a cow produces milk will give you a better understanding on where the dairy products and the stores come from. Also, knowing how to milk a cow will help anybody who wants to go into agriculture after high school or college. How to prepare the udder, diseases in a cow udder, and milking of the udder, all things of consideration when milking a cow. My family has owned a farm for about 80 years, and that's allowed me to work on the farm. So my family has been milking cows for a pretty long time. So I have also done some research specific to my presentation. First, I will discuss how to prepare the udder. Second, I will describe some diseases that can be in the udder. Finally, I will teach you guys the whole milking process. How to prepare the udder, disease in the cow udder, and milking of the udder are all things of consideration when milking a cow. Knowing how to prepare the udder is the most important step of milking a cow. You must prepare the udder in order to get the milk to come out of the udder. First, you must have a special type of dip. At our farm, we refer to this dip as teat dip. The teat dip that we use is called quicksand, which contains peroxide that removes visible soil from the teat. According to David Reed in his 2018 article titled "The Core to Quality Milk," the most common failure to teat dip is not adequately covering the whole teat. You thoroughly apply quicksand teat dip to the bottom of each teat. After you sprayed each teat, you will let it sit for roughly 30 seconds. When the dip starts to turn white and foamy, the teats are ready to be wiped. When wiping off the quicksand dip, you want to make sure you get it all off. To wipe off the teats, our farm uses white paper towels, but you can basically use any sort of towel. Once you thoroughly wipe down the teats, you want to strip out the teats. Stripping of the teats allows the milk to come out of the udder. You can also check to see if the milk has any infections or diseases. After you do all that, you're ready to apply the milker. But before we discuss applying the milker, I'm going to describe diseases a cow can get in the udder and why it's important to properly prepare the udder. There are lots of diseases that a cow can get in the udder. Cows can get diseases in the udder because the milker doesn't do a good job cleaning the udder before milking. A way that cows get diseases is by bacteria and germs getting into the teats. That's why when you dip and wipe the teat before milking, it removes all that bacteria. The most common disease a cow can get is called mastitis. Also, according to Hurley's article on andsci.illinois.edu, in order to tell if the cow has mastitis, the milk will have flakes or clots in it. When you strip out the teats before milking, you want to pay close attention to what the milk looks like. If the milk seems to be coming out chunky, bloody, or very white, then the cow has an infection. Other infections that can occur in the udder are E. coli, Strep teats, Staph aureus, Strep ag, and Strep non-N. The difference between Strep ag and Strep non-N is that ag is an environmental infection, meaning that the infection occurs if the cow's pen is pretty dirty or was not properly taken care of. Strep non-N is a genetically infection. Farmers want to make sure that they check their cows daily for infections. Now that we have went over how to prepare the udder and infections and diseases in the udder, I'm going to discuss the whole milking process. I already went over preparing the udder before milking, but I'm going to briefly explain it again. You want to make sure to thoroughly spray quicksand on the bottom of every teat. After the teat is set for about 30 seconds or starts to turn white and foamy, you're then ready to wipe it off. After wiping off the dip, you want to make sure to strip each teat out, checking for infections. After you've done all that, you're ready to apply the milker. When you are applying the milker, you want to make sure all the hoses are properly connected on each spot. If the hose falls off, then it could land in a pile of poop and cause the milker to become clogged. After checking to make sure all the hoses are tightly connected, you can turn the milker on. When the milker is on, it makes a very loud sucking sound. You want to make each of the suction cups and apply them to the teats. When applying to the suction cups to the teats, you want to make sure that the teat doesn't somehow get folded. If the teat gets folded to the udder, then the milk won't be able to come out. Once you properly apply the milker, you want to wait for the cow to be done. It approximately takes about 3 minutes for a cow to be completely milked. To take off the milker, you want to make sure and chuck the milker off before pulling it off. After you're taking the milker off, you're ready to respray the teats. The after milking spray is called Icon 10,000V NPE Free Sanitizing Iodine. It applies a barrier to the bottom of each teat so that the bacteria can't get in there. It also contains a lotion to soothe in the teats, which then prevents chapped teats, frostbite, or windburn. For the final teat dip, you do not wipe it off. In order for this dip to protect the udder, it must stay on the teats. First, I discussed how to prepare the udder. Second, I went over diseases and infections a cow can get in the udder. Finally, I explained the whole process together. How to prepare the udder, diseases in a cow udder, and milking of the udder are all things in consideration when milking a cow. Now that you all know how to milk a cow, do any of you want to try it?